In this week's episode of the Gentle Parenting Show, I am joined by my friend and colleague, Amber Trueblood. She's amazing. I have to read to you her bio so you can see what I'm talking about. Not only does she have her MBA, but she's a licensed marriage and family therapist. She's also an author, a retreat host, and the mother of 4 sons. Interestingly, Amber wrote Stretch Marks, her debut book, while on Broadway tour with her husband and 4 sons, traversing over 60 cities across the US and Canada, and I guess homeschooling them at the same time. Amber is most passionate about providing mothers simple and realistic tools to guide them toward a happier, calmer parenting life. Her unique approach includes helping clients clarify their values and priorities, then showing them how to use that knowledge to make better disciplined decisions, relieve mom guilt, we all need that, reduce self-judgment, and become a truly enlightened parent. I'm so excited to have you. And Amber, we're going to have you back many, many times because there's just so much that you can share with us, not only about your own journey in motherhood, but about all the incredible wisdoms that you've learned along the way and from your work with moms.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Kim. I'm so excited to be here. We have so much to talk about. I love it.
We do. So our biggest challenge will be to keep it to the 7 survival tips for new moms is what we're going to talk about in this episode. But like I said, everybody, Amber's definitely coming back to talk about so many more topics. So tell us a little bit about, because of course the first tip is my favorite topic, sleep,
Yeah.
and how to get better sleep as a new mom.
Yeah. Well, I came up with these because I really thought I started working with you a lot and I started working with motherhood maternity. And I really, I love to learn and I do workshops and I read a billion books and then I have my personal experience. And I've been doing this for, the last 20 years, kind of gaining all this knowledge that I wished I had when my kids were little. And then, ever since, how can I serve and help, overwhelmed moms? And so I really was like, okay, what is like, if I had a mom in front of me who had a newborn and she was exhausted and overwhelmed, like if I could help her with just a few things, a handful of things, what would those be? Like, of course, there's a million things that would be lovely, nice to have, nice to do. But like, if there were only a few skills, and then what
Yeah.
were the, like, what's the how of it? Because it's great to say like, hey, sleep is really important. Y'all should be getting good sleep. Who cares? Like that fine.
Right.
You know that. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But like, how do
Yeah.
you actually do that when you can't even find time to go to the bathroom? When you're scared to take a
Right.
shower because you don't know when to do it, when it's safe for your kid. Like all of
Mhm.
these are real things and they affect different
Yeah.
people differently. So then you have, your mother-in-law saying, well, just put the baby down, let them cry, do this. And then you have your neighbor saying, how can you do that? And you're like,
No.
everybody hold on a hot second. I'm doing my best here. So
Mhm.
yes, the first one is definitely for me sleep. And really, how can you help yourself in a kind way with realistic expectations, get a little bit more sleep, get better quality sleep? And so
Mhm.
in my mind, I came up with, the top 3 things you can do that are easy, that are very simple. I'm going to take that back. Maybe it's not easy because maybe it's not a habit yet, but it's simple.
Yeah.
Nothing you don't have to
Okay.
memorize or like try to remember a lot of stuff. The first one is unplugging from your devices. If you can't,
Yep.
30 minutes would be great before bed. 60 minutes is even better. And it
Mhm.
really is, Kim, because we're not wired to be looking at devices all the time. It affects us physiologically,
Mhm.
it affects us emotionally, depending on what kind of content we're looking at. So,
Yeah.
and absorbing, and I have a bunch of stuff like we can have a whole episode where we talk about social media and online content that
Oh,
affects you.
let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
I get fired up about that too. But so unplugging your device. And what this means is not having it next to your bed.
Yeah.
Because I don't, do y'all trust yourself having it next to your bed all night? So plug.
I don't have mine next to my bed. Mine's downstairs in my office on silent.
Yeah, and honestly,
Can't.
as much electronics, there are people
Mhm,
whose systems are sensitive to even having it physically near you. So,
mhm,
having it on airplane mode across the room, in the bathroom, in the kitchen, somewhere far is ideal. So,
yeah,
unplugging 60 minutes before bedtime. That's simple but not easy. Tip number one. The second one
mhm,
is resetting your body before bed if possible. So, this might mean, depending on how much energy you have, some people are exhausted all day, but then as soon as the baby goes to sleep, you get kind of a burst of energy, because you
yeah,
finally have some time for yourself. Other people, you're just ready to conk. So
right.
so listen to your own body. This might mean just a few minutes in a hot shower or a hot bath, or some,
Mhm,
I always stretch before bed and do
mhm,
some like just whatever my body feels like. I'll do some stretching.
mhm,
You can play some music. So if you know yourself and you're really an auditory person and you get really
mhm,
relaxed by music or certain smells, maybe it's a candle,
mhm,
maybe it's one of those little essential oil things. So know yourself, know what senses you respond most to, and then use that information, hack yourself to say, okay, I'm going to relax my body by smelling this, sitting in hot water, listening to
right.
this kind of music that I love. Um, and then the third one is resetting your brain for the night. So this is some sort of
Mhm,
mindfulness practice. Could be a short
okay,
breathing meditation. It could be writing in a gratitude journal before bed. It could be doing what we were talking about, a Ho'oponopono meditation. And this is
mhm,
where you just repeat four phrases. You say, I'm sorry. Oh, wait. Thank you. Now I'm going to forget the four. I love you. What is it? I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. That's it. You say those four things, those four phrases over and over again. You breathe slowly. So there's a million different things you can do. But so mindfulness, some stretching or music or something that smells good or a hot shower, that's resetting your body. And then the third one is unplugging. Those will all help facilitate reducing the activation in your central nervous
mhm,
system and
mhm,
calming your body and your brain so that you can then sleep. And the sleep that you'll get then is going to be so much more restorative than if you just collapse on your bed. You throw your
right,
phone aside, you collapse on your bed and you pass out. And then what happens? 3 hours later, you wake up and you can't fall back to sleep.
right. Well, and I would imagine, because I'm trying to go back in time when I had, a little baby, and I'd be like, Amber, that sounds like a lot of time. It's sort of like when you go get your makeup done and they're like, here's another product. You're like, oh my God, it's going to take me forever to get dressed, right? No more products. But isn't it important? And I've had to say this to myself. It's like, no, how about you just 10 minutes
Mhm.
you put aside
Yeah,
to, okay, so you can unplug your phone earlier, but then when you go up to your room and pull your shade down, and as they say, piddle around your room and do kind of mindless things and stretch while you're having your meal. It doesn't have to be like a whole long thing.
mm-mm. No, I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I probably spend, 10 to 20 minutes. You could easily do, if you do this for 5 minutes, if you just do a 5-minute version of this, literally, it doesn't
Yes.
take long. Breathe for three
Good.
minutes, stretch for 2 minutes, smell
Yeah. And just say something that you're grateful for the day. Right.
totally.
Make it simple.
And I mean, and
Yeah.
there are a bunch of physiological reasons why this is effective. It's not just because it's
Mhm.
nice in the moment. It really is. It starts to train your brain to become more responsive and less reactive. And what I
Mhm.
found was when I started meditating regularly, all of a sudden I had more time and space in the day. I had more clarity in
Mhm.
my brain. It
Mhm.
was less that mommy brain that I thought was, because I had people tell me, "Oh, honey, that doesn't ever go away." And I was like, "Oh, well, thanks. That's nice." That's nice.
Right. Great.
I'll tell you, if you don't purposely figure out tools that will help you, maybe it doesn't ever
Yeah.
go away. But now,
Yeah.
those moments where you walk into a room and you think, why did I what why did I come in here? You know, those
Right.
go away. And I used to be obsessed
Mm.
with, I used to have to write everything down because I knew that the second I didn't write it down, it was lost forever in the abyss of my busy, overwhelmed, exhausted mind. And now I have faith that it'll circle back. Even if I can't access
Mhm.
it right now, it'll circle back
Mhm.
because my brain waves are so much I'm so much more in control of them than I was
Yeah.
previously when you're exhausted and you're just in reactive mode all day. And the
Yeah.
process, like you said, you have to be kind with yourself. It's not going to happen overnight. But I think if you do this in little increments, you'll
Yeah.
find the benefits start to outweigh the time it takes, and then
Mhm.
it begins to be like a game changer, like, oh nope, I'm out, I got to go do this because now it's so important to me that I won't miss
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And again, for all of you who are listening, if you haven't seen my episode with Emily Fletcher, and we talk about meditation for kids, but we also talked about when she gifted me her meditation program, and my main resistance to doing it was like, because my nail person meditates an hour a day, I was like, I can't do
Mm.
that. I'm gonna, and I now it's just like 15 minutes. And even if you just started 10 minutes or 5 minutes, as you said, it's still a step in the right direction of making ourselves a priority, because when we take care of
Yeah.
ourselves as a parent, we can be more fully the parent we want to be.
Yeah.
But it's hard for us. I think that we put ourselves last.
100%, 100%. And I think the way to kind of hack that is to
Hmm.
say, it's not benefiting your children to put yourself last long term because you're modeling that to them.
Right.
So just wait till they're teenagers and you see them, putting themselves last, behind a boyfriend that you don't particularly like, or right,
Right.
or a mean,
Mhm.
a mean kid at school or something like that. And you think, well, why are they doing this? Why don't they stick up for
Mhm.
themselves? And you
Mhm.
think, oh, well, what have I been modeling to them all this time?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Okay. And so I have a feeling all of these tips are going to be in this lane, right? Of self-care. Makes complete sense. All right. So her second tip is how to feel emotionally supported.
Yeah. So this and these do all interrelate because I like to
Yeah.
start everything by saying it's hard to grow or change or feel better about any area of your life if you're not coming from a place of self-kindness first, and then secondly self-honesty. And self-kindness, not because it's like nice to do, I mean it is, but more so because if you're coming from a place of judgment and shame and frustration and
Mhm.
guilt, it's really hard
Mhm.
to grow from there because you're looking backwards, you're beating yourself up for yesterday,
Mhm.
and you can't move forward purposefully, if you're
Mhm.
looking back at yesterday. So it's just a practical tool. Like, it's a waste of time. Let's not We all don't have time to waste and energy.
Right. Right.
And the second thing is self honesty. So as I go through these things,
Yeah.
you know yourself best. You know your lifestyle, your personality, your family dynamics, your
Mhm.
kids' personalities, and that combination makes you so different from the next person. So when
Mhm.
I talk about different practical tips, you might be like, "Oh my gosh, a bath is not going to work for me." But, I do really love smells. If I just have a little thing of essential oil, lavender next to my bed, that might be amazing. So it's your job then to pick up those little tips and take what will work for you. Like, I
Right.
can't do that for you. Kim can't do that for you. You're the only one,
Mhm.
that really knows
Mhm.
yourself best. So the emotional
Mhm.
support um,
Mhm.
is I had a doula, a labor coach, for all four of my deliveries, and
Mhm.
she raised 11 children. She had
Wow.
9 adopted children and 2 biological children. And she was like, if I could, I want to connect her with you. She's been so busy that
Goodness.
if you could get her on your show, oh my Lord. But anyway,
I would
her
love
name's
that.
Carmen. She's amazing. Um, but she told me that women need 20 minutes a day connecting with other women. I live in a house of lots of boys, lots and lots of boys. So to get that, I had to start a podcast. No, I mean, just kidding. I have to go out of my way to make sure I get that. And same thing when you're at home with a newborn and your 2-year-old that's hanging on your leg doesn't count for 20 minutes of emotional connection with another woman.
Right,
So this,
right.
this might mean taking a walk. This might mean right now a lot of virtual stuff, which isn't ideal, but it's better than nothing. So whatever you can
Mhm,
do to reach out and feel connected to other women that you trust in a safe, emotionally safe way is huge.
mhm.
And that my caveat to this is avoiding zombies and avoiding vampires. And I use these silly terms so that you remember them. And vampires, you
Mhm,
might have heard this term before, it goes around, whereas
mhm,
this is people that leave you feeling drained after you interact with
mhm.
them.
Yep.
That you're just like, wah, wah, like, oh my gosh, that was exhausting. Like, okay, I just had my 20 minutes with another woman and now I want to take a nap.
Right,
So
right.
vampires are people
You complained the whole time or it's negative,
negative,
right.
yeah.
Mhm,
And the
mhm.
weird thing about this is sometimes there are vampires that are more like drugs, meaning when you're with them, it's kind of
Yeah,
stimulating. It's kind of fun.
right.
People with really snarky senses of humor or really caustic kind of, they're fun to be around, but afterwards you're kind of left with this yucky feeling. So
Mm.
it feels weird because you're like, well,
Little
we just
sneaky.
laughed a lot, so that felt good, but now I feel kind of gross. Pay
Yeah.
attention to that because that's like a drug or having a little too many margaritas where like in the moment you feel great, but the aftermath is not worth it. So
Right.
minimizing or avoiding completely your time with vampires is really important to your emotional mental health. So that's a protective tool you can use.
Love that.
The
Mhm,
zombies is pertains more to like social media and devices. So this is
mm.
content that you absorb that then eats away at you the rest of the day. So, and I
Yes.
know there's certain content I can't read. If I see the title, I cannot read this article about how this kid was abused or somebody left them on the side of the road. Oh my gosh.
Right.
I will think about that. I will perseverate on that all
Yes.
day, all night.
Yep.
It'll eat away at me. So I
Mhm.
know I can't read that article. Now, if there's something pressing that I need to protect my kids from, if there's a tsunami like on its way to my house, yes, let me know. I will read about that. But otherwise, I don't need that content in my head. It's not
Yeah.
serving me emotionally. It's not allowing me to function. I need to, you all need to sleep. You need to eat. You need to take care of your kids. You need to be present. And that takes
Right.
a lot of work. So don't give
Right.
away any of your emotional energy on things that you can't solve right now anyway. Maybe someday
Mhm,
you'll go solve that. That's fabulous.
mhm.
But right now, you're probably not gonna, you know, do that.
I would think it would be the same for seeing people online that appear to be perfect.
Mhm.
Right, just had a baby looking fab, and, everybody has some level of adjustment, suffering even at times, and I think that's one of the things that's so hard now about being a new parent.
You just reminded me, and I'm looking around because I want to run across the
Mhm,
room and grab it, and because I probably
mhm,
have it under. Oh, here, no, hold on. I swear. Okay, I'm gonna. By the end of this, I'm gonna share it with you, and maybe we can put it in your notes. But there is a wonderful
okay,
little, like it's almost like a coffee table book. You can pick it up and just read one page at a
mhm,
time, and it's
uh-huh,
exactly about that. It's like you meet another new mom on the street, and she
yeah,
seems to totally have her S together. And you walk
mhm,
away thinking, "Oh my gosh, there she
right,
is, just breastfeeding like no problem." Meanwhile, I'm in tears every single night,
right,
feeling like a
right,
terrible mom and feeling like I'm starving my kid. And we have all these terrible internal dialogues. And this book, which I'll find before we end or we'll post it,
okay, great,
is a
good,
beautiful, beautiful way of explaining that you have no idea what's happening with that other mom. She might not be having the same problem you're having, but chances are she's having a different problem. You
right,
don't even know. And, it's it's really so emotionally isolating to do that to yourself and tell yourself that story. So I agree.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
that can be
Great.
really difficult. So supporting
Yeah.
yourself emotionally, connecting with other women, and avoiding zombies and vampires is a really good way to protect yourself emotionally right now.
And then the next one is, I mean, you see how they're all
Yeah.
connected, and can't wait to get to the, one that talks about how you got your groove back, but we'll get there. So, how to communicate your needs more effectively.
Yeah.
This is so important in parenting.
So, listen, mamas, I know we would love for everybody around us to have the magic words and sit down and say, like, I see you're struggling. How can I help? What if I make dinner tonight? What if I take your 2-year old and we go for a drive so you can take a nap? Don't hold your breath. Do not hold your breath waiting for that to happen. And
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that they don't care about you, that they don't want to help, that they don't
Mhm.
love you and see that you're struggling. Um, Sometimes they do and they just don't know how to help you. Sometimes they have no idea because they're struggling with something else that they're just not mentioning to you because they don't
Mhm.
want to burden you with it. We just have no idea. So,
Mhm. Or what they think is helpful for you is not what's helpful for you. It's what's helpful for them, right? If you look at the whole, like, love
oh
languages thing.
my lord, you're not
Yeah.
kidding. Yes, exactly. So one thing that you can do to really help yourself is to communicate your words, to communicate your needs rather, more effectively.
Mhm.
And this means being really direct, um, being really specific, and trying, if possible, to be genuinely appreciative when those needs are met, because that will elicit more and more of that behavior. So if you come to the table with, thanks for finally taking the trash out, that's not
Right,
really going to help the situation. you know
right.
if you're able to come to the table, genuinely grateful, but also very specifically, um, verbally specific about what you need. So, what this looks like might be, hey, I'm feeling just really like I've hit a wall today. I'm so exhausted. Can you take the baby, take them out of this house for 45
Right,
minutes so that I
right,
can just do nothing, be in charge of nobody for 45 minutes?
right,
Ah,
right.
10, maybe it's 10
Yep.
minutes, maybe it's walk them around the block for 20 minutes, whatever
Mhm,
it is.
mhm,
And then I have
mhm,
this is my tip I'm going to add to this. If you think 20 minutes would be great, ask for 30. Ask for like a tiny bit more, because my
mhm,
guess is that what you're asking for is like so tiny. It's so tiny because even that seems amazing. Ask for like a little bit more than that, because you're
right.
probably undercutting what
Mhm,
you're undercutting yourself. So even if it doesn't happen, ask for a little bit more. Um, and verbally say it, but be real specific. Don't say, I need time for a nap today. Say, hey,
right,
at 1 o'clock, do you think you can take the kids for a drive and like not come back until 2?
right.
Be really, really specific, or call your mother-in-law. Say, hey, or give yourself permission. Hey, can we order dinner in for like like enough tonight that I don't have to cook for 2 nights, like.
Right,
But think about what
right.
are the one or two things that would just sound like dreamy fantasy land, and then
Mhm,
ask for that very specifically.
yep,
And then verbalize your gratitude and show, wow, oh my gosh, that allowed me to feel human. And then be
right,
really nice after that. Show them that
yeah,
it helped
yeah,
make you happy,
yeah,
because I guarantee you the people in your life who love you, they really want you to be happy.
mhm,
And I'm gonna like break it down by gender right now. So just if it applies, great. If it doesn't, then mess with
mhm,
it. But you know, when men in our lives don't know how to make you happy and they see that you're unhappy, they take it
mhm,
personally often, as if they're failing you. So then
mhm,
what happens is either they back away emotionally,
Mhm.
because they're failing you anyway. So
Right.
they back
Right.
away, which then
Right.
leaves a big crevasse in your emotional connection with them. And then that leaves you feeling even more isolated emotionally, which most of
Mhm.
us don't
Mhm.
want. Um,
Mhm.
or they get angry, they get frustrated at you. Well, you're not getting, well, why are you doing this? I gave you 30 minutes yesterday and then you just talked to your mom this morning and then you were even more mad after that. And then you get attacked. So if you can really show them that, wow, that little 30 minutes made such a big difference, make eye contact, smile, say thank you, that could go
Right.
a long way right now. That could really,
And also lots of times our partners want to hear
yes.
specifically what we want. So that, I know that we can sometimes be like, well, why didn't he figure it out? Or why didn't she figure it out? But meanwhile, they're like, I don't know how to get this right. And it's much better for us to be really specific.
Well, and on that note, if you're one of these, I'm speaking from experience. If you're one of these people that already is juggling a lot, and the people around you already can't imagine handling what you handle,
Hmm.
there's an assumption that can come with that says, well, she can handle
Mm,
anything. Like she already runs a business and has four little
right.
ones and does all of these things. So she's good. Like they may assume that you're fine. And I
Right.
remember there was a time when I had all four of my little ones, and Jamie, my husband, was working out of town, and he would fly home every weekend for like 24 hours, and then he'd fly back out. And I had had a little bit too much to drink at a Halloween party and jumped off some steps and twisted my ankle. And we were moving, so I
Oh,
was packing boxes, right? And
right.
I was losing my mind, and I was up
Mhm.
at 2 in the morning emailing him these, like, long, like, "I'm losing my mind" emails, which he couldn't do anything from, Atlanta.
Right.
Anyway, I couldn't understand why the people who I thought cared about me didn't come to my rescue, didn't know that of course I was losing my mind. I have a sprained ankle, I'm trying to move, I have 4 little ones, and I'm by myself.
Right.
Um And they didn't. They thought I was fine. And it wasn't until I said, I call it raising the white flag. Hey guys,
Yeah.
I am not okay. Literally just say that.
Yeah.
I'm not okay. I need
Yeah.
help. And I'm gonna cry. I want to cry thinking about it. And my mom
Mhm.
said, "Oh my gosh, honey, like, well, would it help if I take the boys like overnight once a week or Friday?" And I was like,
Yes.
yes, yes. And I just
Gosh.
I wanted a neighbor to like call me if they were at Rite Aid and say, "Hey, do you need toilet paper? Do you
Right.
need some Advil? Do you need anything from here
Right.
that I can pick up?" This was before Instacart and Amazon were
Right.
so readily
Right.
available. And so then, like months into this, I realized, oh, I need to be really specific, like you said, and I need to verbalize, hey, A, I'm actually not okay right now. And B,
Yeah.
could you go to the grocery store and get me some cheesecake and some toilet paper, like stat, you know?
And maybe everybody has this kind of moment in their life, and if you haven't had it, then hopefully this will be super helpful. But I'm thinking about when I had, kind of a rough time in my life as a young mom, and I remember finally saying something, and several of my girlfriends said, "Wow, Kim, you like never complain. We had no idea any of this was going on. And why didn't you talk to us?"
Yeah.
And they said, you're always so there for all of us. You know that it makes us feel good to be there for you. And I think that we need to remember that, right? That like other people get something from helping us, especially if you are one of those parents that's got, manages a lot. Like you said, people think, oh, you don't need anything,
Mm.
and they don't tend to know to ask or to think that they need to ask. And so it really made them feel important. in their relationship with me when I said, you know what, I need some help. And they're like, wow. I thought, wow. And I remember I was in my early 30s and I thought, oh my gosh, how many years have I wasted not
Yeah.
reaching out and asking for support and help?
It's so true. It's so
Yeah.
true. And how your friends responded to that was so telling, you know? So yeah, for those of you listening, if you
Hmm.
take anything away from today and you're like, if you have tears in your eyes right now, this is the one thing. This
Yeah.
is maybe the time you raise the white flag and reach out to a friend or text and just say, "Hey, so I'm not okay. I need your help." You know,
Yeah.
and then figure out for yourself what would be most helpful, like today, tonight, tomorrow. Like, what can you do for yourself so that you can feel more supported? It's
Yeah.
really important.
And even though that kind of gets into how to get serious help, which we can talk about, and how to take care of yourself. I mean, I know on our little list here, it was our body is
Mhm.
next.
Yeah.
Um,
And this is basic because but it's so important. It's worth talking
yeah.
about because it's easy to forget. So it's
Mhm.
simple things: eating, drinking, water, not alcohol, and breathing.
Right.
I mean, I drink alcohol, no judgment, but
Right.
so drinking water. It's so simple. Are you doing it? Are you drinking enough water?
Mhm.
Probably not. So it's like,
Right.
it's this. What simple ways, what is the easiest way to get yourself to drink more water? So do you love, iced tea? If you make a huge jug of iced tea, you throw in the fridge, are you more likely to drink it? If you
Mhm.
do you love lemon water? Do you love I put a
Mhm.
jug of water next to my bed, and then in the morning, yeah,
Do you
I
love mint water?
Hint. So her story is genius, and she said that,
Mhm. Mhm.
Hint came about because she was drinking a bunch of diet soda and having
Mhm.
like serious health issues as a result and not drinking water.
Mhm.
And so she said before she discovered Hint, she would line up 8 glasses of water in the morning on her counter and like
Mhm.
not go to bed until all of them were done and empty. So such a
Mhm.
genius hack to like know yourself, be honest with
Right.
yourself about how are you going to drink water. If you have it around and you see it, are you more likely to drink it? Probably. If some
Mhm.
people love super cold water or super hot water
Right.
because they're cold all day in the winter. So whatever tricks you can use to trick yourself into drinking
Mhm.
more water is like, I like
Mhm.
these little dissolvable, they're like green, I don't know, they're supposed to have vitamins and minerals and stuff in it. And so I'll
Uh-huh.
pop those into water and then I end up chugging it. I drink the whole thing and I feel like
And you get your
I got some.
and then you get your vitamins and your
Right,
water.
exactly. So whatever hacks work,
Good.
like that's
All
what
right.
you're going to want to do. And then breathing is really important because it calms your nervous system, it helps your brain think more clearly, it makes you less emotionally reactive. And so
Mhm.
one of the breathing hacks that I love is, and this is hard if you're being woken by a child. So if you're not woken up by a child in the morning, or even maybe right before bed, you do this, is just consciously, slowly breathe. And you always want to start with like relaxing your shoulders, relaxing the muscles in your face, relaxing your jaw. I will find myself sleeping and my hands will be in fists, like, and my lips will be all weird. And so I
Sure.
will consciously relax the muscles in your face and your hands and your shoulders and breathe in through your nose and breathe out. And literally just doing that once, twice, 3 times. I mean, yes, if you could do it for 10 minutes, that's great. But let's be real. Do it once if you can. Do it
Yeah.
every time you wash your hands. Do it every time you walk through a certain doorway in your house. If you have touch points that then becomes the reminders to breathe deeply, and as many times as you
Mhm.
can do that during the day, like right now washing your
Mhm.
hands is a good one. um,
Yeah.
do it before you're ready to yell at one of the kids. you know
Right.
like anything you could do to to trigger that, oh, okay, this is time for a deep breath. In the shower,
Right.
I'm a big one for like stuff you could do in the shower.
Yeah,
So breathing.
I agree. I think it's some of my most productive time is in the
Oh my
shower.
gosh, I love it.
You know,
That's
because if you think about it, when you're a new mom too, it's like sometimes feels like the only time you're truly alone.
mhm, mhm,
Because even when you go to the bathroom, if you have toddlers, they'll come in with
yeah,
you, you know?
totally,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, showers is genius. Um,
All right.
And
Good.
then eating is really making sure that you're eating in a way that serves your body. And, be kind to yourself about it. I think when we have really harsh, strict rules, then we break them, then we feel guilty, and it starts this whole negative spiral. So be kind to
Yeah.
yourself about it. But where can you make simple, easy changes to make sure that you're eating enough and that you're eating stuff that's really